Analysis of U.S.-China trade in 2023 and 2024 overview. China and the United States are the world's two largest economies, and their trade relationship is one of the most significant globally. The trade dynamics between these two countries have significant implications for both economies and the global trade landscape. 2023 trade data, total trade value, $690 billion. U.S. exports to China, $147.8 billion. U.S. imports from China, $427.2 billion. U.S. trade deficit with China, $279.4 billion. 2024 trade data, total trade value, $583 billion. U.S. exports to China, $143.5 billion. U.S. imports from China, $438.9 billion. U.S. trade deficit with China, $295.4 billion. Detailed analysis 1. Total trade value. In 2023, the total trade value between the U.S. and China was $690 billion. In 2024, the total trade value decreased slightly to $583 billion. This indicates a reduction in overall trade volume between the two countries. 2. U.S. exports to China. In 2023, U.S. exported $147.8 billion worth of goods to China. In 2024, U.S. exports to China decreased to $143.5 billion. This represents a decline of approximately 3%. 3. U.S. imports from China. In 2023, the U.S. imported $427.2 billion worth of goods from China. In 2024, U.S. imports from China increased to $438.9 billion. This represents an increase of approximately 2.7%. 4. U.S. trade deficit with China. In 2023, the U.S. had a trade deficit of $279.4 billion with China. In 2024, the trade deficit widened to $295.4 billion. This indicates that the U.S. imported significantly more goods from China than it exported. Key observations. Trade deficit widening. The U.S. trade deficit with China increased in 2024, despite a slight decrease in overall trade volume. This suggests that while U.S. exports to China declined, imports from China continued to grow. Impact of trade policies. The trade relationship between the U.S. and China has been influenced by various trade policies and tariffs imposed by both countries. The data reflects the ongoing trade tensions and their impact on bilateral trade. Economic implications. The persistent trade deficit has economic implications for both countries. For the U.S., it highlights the need to address domestic consumption patterns and improve competitiveness in certain sectors. For China, it underscores the importance of diversifying its export markets and enhancing domestic consumption. Conclusion. The trade relationship between China and the U.S. remains a critical area of focus for policymakers and economists. The data from 2023 and 2024 highlights the complexities and challenges in managing this relationship, with significant implications for both economies and the global trade system. Disclaimer: AI tools can make mistakes, so double-check them before sharing.